Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all in the class of the chapter Economic Reform since 1991. In the previous videos of this chapter, I have covered liberalization and privatization, and in this video, I am going to cover the topic globalization, case for globalization, case against globalization. That means what are the merits and demerits of globalization, outsourcing, WTO, that is World Trade Organization, positive effects of economic reforms and negative effects of economic reforms. So let's begin with the globalization. Globalization means integrating an economy with the world economy. It indicates the opening up of the economy for the world market. In the process of globalization, we become economically interdependent at the global or international level. It includes not only movement of capital but of laborers from one country to another as well. Thus, the policy of globalization encourages foreign trade and the movement of the labor and capital between the nations. We can say that liberalization of foreign trade and investment and advancement in technology, particularly in information technology, have led to the globalization of the Indian economy. Globalization is an outcome of the set of the various policies that are aimed at transforming the world towards greater interdependence and integration. It involves creation of networks and activities transcending economic, social and geographical boundaries. Globalization attempts to establish links in such a way that the happenings in India can be influenced by events happening miles away. It is turning the world into one whole or creating a borderless world. Now let us discuss the points which are favor of globalization. Globalization encourages competition and reduced prices. We can say that as it is encouraging competition which leads to reduction in prices and improvement in the quality of goods and services. It increased the flow of foreign and modern technology into the country. It leads to entry of foreign banks, and we have already studied in the privatization and liberalization that there was the entry of foreign banks in India, increased employment opportunities. It is expected that integration between different sectors will lead to more production in the home country, and this will definitely increase the employment opportunities in the home country. There were few demerits of globalization also. We can say that globalization has been criticized on the following grounds. Benefit of globalization accrue to developed nations as they are able to expand their markets in developing countries. Increases the economic disparities among nation and people. We can say that market driven globalization increases the economic disparities among nation and people. Domestic industries were adversely affected. Small business class was adversely affected with the entry of multinational corporations into the country. Now the domestic producers was to face the competition that was brought by the multinational corporation into the country. Now let us discuss about the outsourcing. Outsourcing is one of the important outcomes of the globalization process. And in outsourcing, a company hires regular service from external sources, mostly from other countries, which was previously provided internally or from within the country. For example, legal advice, computer service, advertisement, security, each provided by respective department of the company. As form of economic activity, outsourcing has intensified in recent times because of the growth of fast modes of communication, particularly the growth of information technology, that is IT. Many of the services, such as voice based business processes, popularly known as BPO or call centers, record keeping, accountancy, banking services, music recording, film editing, book transcription, clinical advice, or even teaching are being outsourced by companies in developed countries to India. You can say that most multinational corporations and even small companies are outsourcing their services to India, where they can be availed at cheaper cost with reasonable degree of skills and accuracy. The low wage rates and availability of skilled manpower in India have made it a destination for global outsourcing in the post reform period. We can conclude that outsourcing is good for India because it generates employment opportunities for large number of people in India. It contributes to countries' gross domestic product and foreign exchange reserves, and outsourcing also raises India's worthiness and creditability. But developed countries have been opposing the outsourcing because it reduces the generation of employment in developed countries and it results in outflow of funds from the developed countries to India. Now let us discuss about World Trade Organization, that is commonly known as WTO. India joined WTO as a founder member in 1995, and as the successor organization to General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, that was GATT. GATT was established in 1948 with 23 countries as the global trade organization to administer all multilateral trade agreements by providing equal opportunities to all countries in the international market for trading purposes. The headquarters of World Trade Organization is in Geneva, Switzerland. India was a founder member of World Trade Organization, and in 2016 there were 164 member countries in WTO. World Trade Organization is expected to establish a rule-based trading regime in which nations cannot place arbitrary restrictions on trade. In addition, its purpose is also to enlarge production and trade of services. It ensures optimum utilization of world resources and it also protects the environment. We can say that WTO was formed to formation of rules and regulations which all the members have to adopt for smoothing of trade. The WTO agreements cover trade in goods as well as services to facilitate international trade, bilateral and multilateral both, through removal of tariff, that was the tax imposed on imported goods, as well as non-tariff barriers and providing greater market access to all member countries. India has kept its commitment towards liberalization of trade made in the World Trade Organization by removing quantitative restrictions on imports and reducing tariff rates. You all can see here, this is the logo of World Trade Organization. A hint of the globe is suggested by the six graphic arcs you can see, symbolizing world trade with member nation meeting to forge strategic alliances. Dynamism and optimism prevail as the swells integrate, encapsulating WTO's united spirit of promoting fair and open trade. The WTO's current Director General is Roberto Azevedo, who leads a staff of over 600 people in Geneva, Switzerland. The major aim of WTO is to conduct the international trade among countries of the world in an open, uniform and non-discriminatory manner. The World Trade Organization or WTO also handles the trade disputes between different nations. The World Trade Organization provides technical assistance and training to developed and underdeveloped countries. It forms rules and regulations which all the members have to adopt for smooth functioning of trade. The reform process has completed more than 2 decades since its introduction. Let us now look at the performance of the Indian economy during the reform period. First, we will discuss about important positive effects of economic reforms. There was high growth rate. The growth of the economy is measured by its gross domestic product, that is GDP. There has been an increase in the growth of GDP. India witnessed a rapid growth in GDP continuously. The growth of GDP increased from 5.6% during 1980 to 91 to 8.2% during 2007 to 2012. There was growth of service sector. The service sector recorded a tremendous growth. Its contribution to GDP has increased from 41% in 1990 to 53% in 2017. Service sector growth in India accelerated to 10.3% per annum. There was increase in foreign investment. We can say that the opening of the economy has led to a rapid increase in foreign direct investment and foreign exchange reserves both. First, we will discuss about the foreign investment. New economic policy has led to rapid increase in foreign investment. Foreign investment has increased from $100 million in 1990 to $36 billion in 2016 to 17. Mauritius is the major source of foreign direct investment in India. Then we will discuss about increase in foreign exchange reserves. During the reform period, countries' foreign exchange reserves have increased from about $6 billion in 1990 to $321 billion in 2014 to 15. Foreign exchange reserves have rapidly increased because of three reasons: because there was devaluation of rupee, there was increase in foreign investment, and there was full convertibility of rupee on current account. And India is seen as a successful exporter of auto parts, engineering goods, IT software, and textile in the reform period. There was increase in foreign trade also. India's share in global exports and imports have improved from 0.8% and 1% respectively in 2004 to 1.65% and 2.21% respectively in 2016. United States of America holds the largest share in India's foreign trade. There was boost to Indian companies. Due to the policy of globalization and liberalization, the private sector has gained a big boost. Now, many restrictions on the imports and exports have been lifted. Private sector is free to import raw material and technology from other countries. Several top Indian companies have been able to benefit from increased competition. Moreover, globalization has enabled some large Indian companies to emerge as multinational themselves. For example, Tata Motors, Infosys, Ranbaxy, Asian Paints are some Indian companies which are spreading their operations worldwide. There was competitive environment with the introduction of economic reforms since 1991. A large variety of goods and services are now available to the Indian consumers. With the entry of multinational corporations, Indian domestic market has become competitive than ever. The entry of companies like LG, Samsung and Sony in the field of electronics has benefited the Indian consumers most. There was check on fiscal deficit. We can say that with the introduction of economic reforms, fiscal deficit has come down to 3 to 4%. In 1991, fiscal deficit was 8.4% of GDP, which was reduced after the reform period. There is a negative side of the economic reforms also. The major failure of the economic reforms are as follows. First is there was neglect of agriculture. Public investment in agricultural sector, especially in infrastructure like irrigation, power, roads, research, which played a crucial role in the Green Revolution period, has been reduced in the economic reform period. It was believed that private sector would come forward in this direction, but this did not happen. There was also the removal of fertilizer subsidy in agricultural sector, which has led to increase in the cost of production, which has severely affected the small and marginal farmers. Many countries and many multinational corporations have begun to take patent rights on different agricultural goods or on the process of production of different agricultural goods. Many foreign companies are grabbing the patent rights of many Indian traditional agricultural products. India could not apply on time with proper evidence and documents. For example, turmeric, tulsi, and neem were taken by the American companies, and due to this patent law, Indian farmers will have to pay royalty to the foreign companies for the use of seeds of these crops. There was slowdown in the industry also due to the policy of de-reservation of items along with the removal of quantitative controls. Our small scale industries have to compete with multinationals now, and these multinational corporations are establishing their franchises in India to utilize cheap labor and local resources which were utilized by small scale industries earlier. And on the other hand, India still does not have access to markets in the developed nations. This is due to high non tariff barriers imposed by the developed countries. For example, India has lifted all quota restrictions on export of textile and clothing, but America has not done the same on the imports of textile from India and China. We can say that in globalization or in a globalized world, developing countries are compelled to open up their economies to greater flow of goods and capital from developed countries and rendering their industries vulnerable to imported goods. So there was slowdown in industrial sector also. Disinvestment. This was the third negative effect of economic reforms. Under this policy of disinvestment, the assets of public sector undertakings have been undervalued and sold to the private sector. This means a substantial loss to the government. Moreover, the proceeds from disinvestment were not used for the development of public sector undertakings and for building social infrastructure in the country. Rather, it was used to meet the deficit in the government revenues. Every year, the government fixes a target for disinvestment of these public sector undertakings. For example, in 1991, it was targeted to mobilize 2500 crore through disinvestment. The government was able to mobilize 3040 crore, which was more than the target. In 2017, the target was about 1 lakh crore, whereas the achievement was about 1 lakh 57 crores. So government was able to achieve more than its target in case of disinvestment. There was jobless growth after the reform period. Though the GDP growth rate has increased during the reform period, this has not generated corresponding growth in employment, which is called as jobless growth. This is one of the reasons why growth has failed to reduce poverty. There was unbalanced growth process as well. Economic reforms in India have resulted in the concentration of growth process in urban areas only. All multinational corporations are establishing their units in highly developed urban areas where they find adequate infrastructural facilities. The growth has been concentrated only in some select areas in the service sector such as telecommunication, information technology, that is IT sector, finance, entertainment, travel and hospitality services, real estate and trade. The growth of agriculture and industrial sector has declined during the reform period. There was rural urban gap due to these reforms introduced since 1991. Dominance by multinational corporations. MNCs or multinational corporations in India have now been playing the dominating role in the Indian economy. They are successfully exploiting the Indian market and are selling their products and making huge profits in our country. Indian people sometimes wastefully spend their money on variety of global brands in the market. These are the negative effects of economic reforms. So in this video I have covered the topic of globalization, and the process of globalization has produced positive as well as negative results both for India and the other countries. Globalization was an opportunity in terms of greater access to global markets, high technology, and increased possibility of large industries of developing countries to become important player in the international arena. On the contrary, there was criticism of globalization also, because globalization is a strategy of developed countries to expand their market in developing countries. It has compromised the welfare and identity of people belonging to poor countries. Globalization has widened the economic disparities among nations and people. So, this was all about globalization and positive, negative effects of economic reforms that were introduced since 1991. Thank you.